Walk into any old forest, far from the noise of the city, and just listen. What do you hear? You might say it is the wind, playing its tune upon a harp of leaves and branches. And you would be right, in a way. But our ancestors, those who lived closer to the earth's heartbeat, they heard something more. They heard a language, a slow, deep, patient form of speech, not of words, but of presence. They believed that the rustling of the leaves was not a random noise, but a conversation, a story being told. They believed that trees were not just wood and sap, but living beings with memories stretching back centuries, even millennia. What if they were right? What if we have simply forgotten how to listen? What if every forest is not a collection of silent objects, but a library of living stories, whispering the history of the world to anyone patient enough to hear? This idea is not a new fancy. It is a memory that sleeps in our collective bones. In nearly every ancient culture, the tree was a sacred being. It was the bridge between worlds, with its roots deep in the earth of the living, and its branches reaching towards the heavens of the gods and ancestors. They were the first temples, the pillars of the world. The Druids of the Celtic lands saw the oak as a king, a vessel of profound wisdom and strength. In Japan, the Shinto faith saw Kodama, the spirits that inhabit ancient trees, and to cut one down was to bring misfortune. The Norse spoke of Yggdrasil, the great ash tree whose roots bound together the 9 realms. These were not mere metaphors. They were expressions of a fundamental truth they felt in their souls, that trees were participants in the great drama of life, not just the stage on which it was set. They saw them as kin, as silent, watchful elders who had seen empires rise and fall, who had felt the sun of 1,000 summers on their bark. The secret to this belief, the key to understanding the tree as a historian, lies in its very nature. A tree is a living chronicle of time. Its life is written into its own body for all to see. Cut a fallen tree, and you will find its autobiography etched in a spiral of rings. Each circle is a year, a chapter in its long, slow life. A wide ring tells of a good year, with plenty of rain and sun, a time of growth and prosperity. A narrow, constricted ring speaks of struggle, a drought, a harsh winter, a fire that swept through the forest, leaving a scar in the wood. The tree remembers. It holds the memory of every season, every storm, every quiet dawn. It is a perfect, incorruptible witness to the passage of time. But what if it records more than just the weather? What if, in its lignin and its cellulose, it also holds an imprint of the world around it, the energy of the events that unfolded beneath its branches, the joy of lovers who carved their initials into its skin, the sorrow of a battle fought in its shade, the quiet footsteps of generations of animals and people who passed it by. The true depth of this library, however, is not visible to the naked eye. It lies hidden in the darkness of the earth. We see a forest as a collection of individual trees, competing for light and space. But the real story, the one of great collaboration and communication, is happening beneath our feet. The roots. We think of them as anchors, as straws for drawing water, but they are so much more. They are a brain, a vast, intricate subterranean network that connects the entire forest. Scientists have given it a name, the mycorrhizal network, a symbiotic web of fungus and roots that stretches for miles, linking tree to tree. They call it the wood wide web. Through this network, trees share resources. A great mother tree can send nutrients through the roots to its saplings struggling in the shade. A dying tree can bequeath its remaining carbon and wisdom to its neighbors. But this is a language of chemistry. What if it is also a language of memory? What if stories, warnings, and experiences are not just stored in one tree, but are shared across this entire forest consciousness? The trauma of a fire in one part of the wood could be communicated as a chemical warning signal to the rest, preparing them, teaching them resilience. The memory of a long drought could be passed down, not through genetics, but through this living underground library of shared experience. The forest, then, is not a collection of individual stories. It is one great, interconnected epic, a single, sprawling organism of memory. A fallen tree is not the end of a story. It is a chapter being returned to the earth. As it decays, it becomes a nurse log, its body providing the nourishment for new life, for moss, for fungi, for the very saplings that will grow to be the next generation of storytellers. Its memories are not lost. They are reabsorbed into the soil, into the network, into the very fabric of the forest. The cycles of life and death are not endings, but the turning of a page. The tree understands this in a way we have forgotten. Its existence is a testament to the fact that nothing is ever truly lost, merely transformed. It shows us that life is a constant process of letting go and beginning again, of shedding leaves in the autumn to make way for the buds of spring. It is a long, slow lesson in patience, resilience, and the quiet dignity of existence. So how do we hear these stories? How do we learn to read this wooden library? You do not listen with your ears. The whispers of the trees are not sound waves. They are a feeling, a resonance. It begins with shedding your own noise, the relentless chatter of the modern mind. Go to an old tree, one that has stood for centuries. Place your hand on its rough bark. Feel the texture, the deep grooves that are the wrinkles of its long life. Feel the immense, solid presence of it. Try to imagine what it has witnessed from its single, stationary viewpoint. The world that has changed around it. The seasons that have turned. The generations that have passed. You will not hear words. Instead, you might feel a sense of profound peace, a feeling of stability, or you might sense a deep, ancient sorrow, an echo of loss. You might feel its immense strength, its resilience in the face of countless storms. You are not imagining it. You are connecting to its story, to the energy it has stored within its rings. You are accessing the memory of the forest through the universal language of empathy. The whisper of the trees is the feeling of deep time. It is the understanding that our own lives, with all their frantic urgency, are but a fleeting moment in the grand, slow narrative of the earth. To stand in a forest is to stand in the presence of 1,000 silent storytellers, each one a guardian of a memory much longer than our own. They hold the memory of the land itself. They are the keepers of a wisdom we desperately need, a wisdom about cycles, about connection, about the quiet strength that comes from being rooted in one place. They teach us that the most important stories are not the loudest ones, but the ones that are lived patiently, silently, and with deep connection to the world around us. And just like them, we are also chroniclers. Our own bodies are a record of our lives. Our memories, our scars, our joys are the rings within us. Our relationships, our families, our communities are the root systems that connect us and give us strength. We, too, are living libraries of experience. The question is, what story are we writing? What memories are we guarding for those who will come after us? Perhaps the most important lesson the trees can whisper to us is this: live a story worth telling. Be a guardian of memory. And never forget that you are part of a forest far greater and older than yourself.